This week on The Gadget Show.
Suzi, Jon and I take on our toughest challenge yet.
Come on there, Suzi.
We're pushed to the limits of our endurance and patience.
I don't believe it.
To test portable connectivity, multi-tools, rugged USB memory sticks and off-road Segways.
Jon flies under a bridge to really test hybrid cameras that claim to do stills and video equally well.
And we need your help in our campaign to improve the frankly pathetic broadband provision we have in this country.
Hello and welcome to The Gadget Show.
Now, this week's challenge is about us three being tested to our limits to test outdoor gadgetry in, well, the great outdoors.
Can we just strike the great? I've never really understood that. There's no need for the great, it's just outdoors. What's great about it, you know? I tell you what's great, me sat in a cafe, all right, with a cappuccino, lots of different exotic toppings on it. You sat there with your laptop, you've got Wi-Fi,
Walking up hills is really
newspaper.
nice. Going for a nice walk in the countryside is great.
Going down a hill on some kind of electric gadget.
Yeah,
I can
whatever.
appreciate that.
Well, the challenge started out at sea on a boat.
Welcome to your toughest challenge yet. Wow. You'll be dropped on the beach. And for the next 30 hours, you'll be outside.
For the toughest challenge, you need the toughest tech. And the first stage of our challenge was to be a race in which we'd be testing some of the toughest tech on Earth.
We were each issued with a rugged USB memory stick, the modern-day equivalent of James Bond's armoured briefcase. Then we were told to strap them to the sole of our boots.
We'd be dropped on the beach and then face a 2-mile uphill race. The winner will be the first to finish with a working memory stick.
All USB memory sticks are inherently tough because they're small, compact and have no moving parts. Inside their shell, there's no more than a circuit board which stores data digitally on a flash memory chip. Feeling a bit like some crack special forces unit, we hurtled towards the shore for the start of the race, ready for the most dramatic beach landing there has ever been in the history of TV ever. But the water was too shallow and the captain said we had to go in slowly because of health and safety.
We edged in, all too slowly. Then the race was on.
Memory sticks hold just that. All your memories, photos, music, all your important files. And because you carry them around, it's where your data is potentially the most vulnerable.
And it's absolutely vital that your memory stick gives enough protection to all of that stuff, no matter how many times you drop it, sit on it, or accidentally stamp on it.
I was first off the beach and into the woods. My memory stick was an 8-gig Corsair made from toughened aluminium, which is twice as strong as steel. It's supposed to be one of the fastest USB drives on the market, which could come in handy if this race had a tight finish.
115 million memory sticks were sold last year, and 33% of those went to SanDisk, the makers of my tough little friend. It's made from something called liquid metal that's twice as strong as titanium. Developed by NASA, it was used on the Genesis space probe.
Come on, Suze. You're supposed to run, not walk. Jon was really dropping behind by now.
Maybe because I had the biggest memory stick stuck to my boot. This monster from Armoured Technologies is designed for the military. Its ultra-rugged casing is dust and moisture-proof and works down to minus 20 degrees C.
As we reached the top of the hill, thinking the race was over, there was a nasty surprise waiting for us.
Ooh, hope this is it.
A very wet and very muddy assault course.
Come on!
Jason may have been ahead, but I was determined to catch him.
Having cleared the rope swing, I headed straight into the swamp, which my Corsair should have been able to handle no problem. It's got rubber seals at either end that make it water resistant to 200 metres.
I was right on Jason's tail, but was a little nervous of the swamp. My SanDisk's case may be tough, but it's not sealed. The muddy water could have been the death of it.
I think I'm just out of balance.
As Jon played around in a pond, me and Suzi approached the final obstacle.
My trousers are coming off.
With Jon still wallowing around, me and Jason were close as we burst out of the muddy pool and headed for the waiting bank of laptops.
The first to open the file we'd just carried from the beach would win this test. Hopefully the USB sticks had been tough enough. Hope it's not corrupted. Yes! Yes! My USB stick had survived all that trauma and, amazingly, come through intact.
If my stick had survived as well, I'd get second place.
Come on, open.
Yay!
Well done, Suze. You're right on my tail the whole way.
That's the hardest thing I've ever done.
Exhausting. Absolutely exhausting.
Where's John?
I was still back at the swamp, where I was having a serious problem.
What's going on, John?
I fear my armoured USB stick has become an archaeological artefact, i.e. I've lost it.
Oh,
We searched and searched.
And we couldn't find John's USB memory stick anywhere, and we looked for ages in that
Half
freezing
an
cold
hour.
water.
Yeah.
We did. But on the Gadget Show, we like to test everything properly. So we've given John exactly the same memory stick as he had before, and you can see he's taping it to his foot.
And we've set up a brand new assault course for him around the Gadget Show studio.
Ready, John? 3, 2, 1, go!
This looks awfully small.
It is a bit...
Okay,
Oh, it's almost out.
Is my stick still on?
Yeah, I think yes it is. I've just seen
Right.
it. Go on, John. Hustle. Very good. Quick as you can. Keep the pressure.
Down the
Give a good
stairs.
stamp on the floor.
We'll watch it from up here.
See, John. In you go, John. Quick as you can.
Give it a good grind.
That's right. Stamp on it, John. Stamp on that USB stick. Good move, John.
Right.
Run for it. Here he comes.
Right.
Hi, John. Good work.
Please. Oh, careful. Mind me toes.
There you go.
There it is. Let's have a look at that. Is it working? Oh! Perfect working order.
Absolutely superb.
So, there you have it then. Your data is going to be safe on any of these two USB memory sticks.
Now, I'm going to talk to you about hybrid cameras, the sort that can record both stills and video. Because the fact is that when you're on a night out or when you're on holiday, you often only want to carry one camera around. Increasingly, cameras can shoot both stills and video, and many are marketed specifically on their hybrid abilities. But how good have they got? To find out, I took 3 very different examples to Romania.
But not to sample the tranquil beauties of the Black Sea. No, the assignment was to test my cameras by photographing and videoing something much more radical. This is Aero GP, a race series for people who find conventional ground-bound motorsport, well, a bit boring.
The world's best pilots race high-performance planes alarmingly close to the Earth round impossibly tight circuits over the beaches of Constanta.
What about the cameras we've come here to test? Well, these 3 look particularly promising options, depending on how much you've got to spend.
This Casio Exilim is an 8-megapixel compact stills camera that also records video in MPEG-4. It offers a range of video formats, including widescreen and a YouTube mode. Then there's this Canon PowerShot S5, an 8-megapixel stills camera which boasts much of the functionality of an SLR and extensive movie options. This Sony CX6 is an extremely small and light HD camcorder. It shoots 1080i high-def video and 6.1 megapixel stills and can keep recording continuously for almost 3 hours. First, I wanted to test the camera's stills capabilities, so I headed to the airfield to get some shots of the planes on the ground. First up, the little Casio. I found recent Casios to produce rather grainy pictures. I was hoping this one would be a bit better. It has a comprehensive menu of settings for every occasion.
The shutter delay seems considerably less than I've noticed on Casios in the recent past, which can only be a good thing. The only trouble I'm having with it is actually that autofocus sometimes is a bit hit and miss.
Still, the colour reproduction was pretty good, even in this bright light. Next up was the bigger Canon. Being a proper grown-up stills camera, it should produce the best pictures of all. It certainly felt more substantial than the Casio, and the LCD screen can be twisted and turned, so you can still see it whatever angle you decide to take pictures at.
It's got a 12-time zoom, and it has Canon's excellent optical image stabilization, which should mean you can get steady shots with much slower shutter speeds.
The results from the Canon were sharp, crisp, and really very good. Finally, I tried the Sony. As it's mainly a video camera, I'm not holding out for award-winning stills.
It does seem a bit slow to get going, this one. You have to wait for it to warm up, get into the right mode.
It also had rather bad shutter delay, but the pictures it takes are much better than you'd normally get from a camcorder. Unsurprisingly, when you compare the stills from all three cameras, the Canons are clearly the best. Back above the beach, things were hotting up.
Now it's time to test the video shooting abilities of these three.
First again, the Casio.
Shooting video with the Casio is quite easy, really. There's a big red record button, you press it and it goes into video mode, and you can select between various settings. There's quite a good quality widescreen one, for example, or you can go into best shot and select a dedicated YouTube mode.
It records at the right compression and resolution for YouTube, and the software makes uploading your results easier than from other cameras. The trouble is that the Casio's video zoom is digital only, so as you go in, it gets nasty.
Also, I don't find it very easy to hold as a movie camera. It almost magnifies all the shake. The Canon also has a big red movie record button, so there's no switching modes through menus or anything like that. It's very quick and easy to use, and also I've got full zoom. It feels much easier to handle as a movie camera, in spite of being very stills-shaped.
But the autofocus did have a few problems.
Now, in theory, the 1080i high-definition footage from the Sony should knock the other two out of the water, or sky. It's even got built-in slow-mo.
The Casio really only proved that video on point-and-shoots is never going to be up to much. I was pleasantly surprised by the quality of the video on the Canon. As expected, though, the Sony performed the best, producing fantastic quality video. Finally, I got to the important bit, finding out how each camera handles video and stills at the same time. For this final test, I put my life in the hands of an expert stunt pilot.
We're off. I think this is going to be an exciting trip.
First up, the Casio. The simple settings were good for swapping between modes under the pressure of being in a stunt plane. But what about taking stills while the video was actually recording? I wanted to push the cameras to extremes and to see just how easy they'd be to use under pressure. The pressure in this case coming from flying right under a bridge.
Shooting, keep shooting.
The flying was brilliant, but the Casio was disappointing. Taking a still while shooting video means the video cuts out temporarily, not what you want at all. So, would the Canon perform any better? Again, switching between modes under pressure proved easy, but how would it handle both at once? Once more under the bridge, dear friends. And again, taking stills interrupted the video. A fatal flaw for the otherwise impressive Canon.
Oh, that's lovely.
Finally, we lined up for the bridge again to test the Sony camcorder. Interestingly, under pressure, this became a real mare to operate, and switching modes was just too fiddly. But it did have the all-important ace up its sleeve. It can truly and properly record stills and video at the same time.
That looked awesome.
It was huge fun.
So, John, do you think any of these cameras have managed to successfully combine stills and video?
Well, they're a much better compromise than they used to be.
All right, G ratings then. Casio first.
That was the weakest, just 2 Gs for that, because it's horribly let down, really, by the quality of the video.
OK.
Canon's better. I'd give it 3 Gs. Great stills, but there's a few focusing issues, and it interrupts the video to take a still, which is a problem. The Sony, though, doesn't, and I'd give that 4 Gs. It's also a very desirable object.
Now it's time to return to our wild outdoor challenge. You'll recall that we've already tested rugged USB sticks, and I won that part of the challenge. Then we moved on to, multi-tools. That was another part of the challenge that I won. So, as night started to fall, we slowly trudged up the hill, and we didn't know what we were going to find.
Yeah, well, we do now, don't we, John?
Yep.
All right, guys. Don't spoil it for the viewers.
Our next challenge was to test mobile communications gadgets, and that meant a night out on the mountain. As I'd lost the last challenge, I'd be sleeping in an emergency storm shelter.
Coming second had earned me some of the finest camping gear on the market.
Nice, a shower.
This is a genuine porta potty.
Yeah.
John's numerous tents, though, were no match for the sweet fruits of victory. I'd won a night in this £120,000 motorhome. See you later, guys. Yeah, good luck with the loo, yeah?
Well, at least show us what you've got in there.
I was lording it up with a king-size bed, full shower, a microwave, washer-dryer. I love this place. I've got my satellite broadband, my music system, I can get my iPod going, I can cook myself up a nice meal, then just relax with my homies. This is my mobile multimedia crib, and I deserve it.
Right, so I'm going to go into my tent. All right. Have a lovely time.
Good night.
Yeah.
We were tired, it was cold, and it had started to rain. It had been a long, hard day, and all we wanted to do was to eat and go to bed.
You know what? I almost feel the shower is better knowing that Suzi and Jon are freezing their knackers off.
Though we'd get no food or sleep until we'd faced another, frankly evil challenge.
Our evening meal was being held to ransom, and to get it back, we had to complete a simple-sounding task before 10 o'clock, which was 20 minutes away. We had to find out what would be on telly on 5 at 10 p.m. Success would bring fish and chips. Failure would mean a very hungry night.
We'd be testing some of the best mobile communications tech on the consumer market.
Desktop computer. I got a full Sky TV system built into my RV and a pretty cool aftermarket satellite broadband system.
In my tent, I had an August 11-inch digital LCD TV with built-in Freeview and a BGAN portable satellite phone with global broadband modem for internet access anywhere on Earth.
And in my bag, I found a cool new Arcos portable media player, complete with Wi-Fi for downloading content and web browsing, and this neat USB device with the digital Freeview tuner built in.
All this kit's designed to keep you entertained and connected anywhere. But how does it actually work in the real world? That was what this challenge was designed to test. Although for us, the main concern was whether we'd get any dinner. The clock was ticking, and fish and chips were at stake.
Just waiting for my internet to connect to find out what's on Channel 5 at 10 o'clock, but while I wait for the satellite to make its connection, I might be able to do it even quicker on my TV.
Within a matter of minutes, I'd found the answer with my Sky system. It easily picked up the signal from one of the 4 satellites in stationary orbit, 22,000 kilometres above me. There it is, Steven Seagal.
My widescreen monitor comes with a built-in Freeview tuner with auto-program search and an electronic program guide. Theoretically, it should have passed the test easily.
Yes, let's start auto scan.
Except there was a problem. I couldn't get a signal, even with the help of Suzi and Jason, who took pity on me in my plight. The problem with digital Freeview is that coverage is still patchy. Without a good aerial, reception can be poor.
No bad signal.
Kindness only goes so far, so I left Jon to get on with the task myself. This little USB stick has everything you need to pick up digital TV on your laptop. All the software is accessed from the stick. You can pause, rewind and record live TV wherever you are. Luckily, having a better aerial than Jon's, I did get a faint signal.
10 o'clock. The foreigner. It's the foreigner.
I was left infuriated with no signal and facing the prospect of a hungry night, but I had a cunning plan.
Can I plug your DVB tuner into my computer? Yeah?
Want to?
Yes.
Suzi and I made a deal. She let me use her technology to get a Freeview signal, and I let her come in and stay in my tent.
Suzi, come in!
Can I?
Right, man, just get the dryer in here.
It can't be any wetter.
All 3 of us had completed the first stage, finding the answer on our TVs. To complete the task, though, we had to find it online as well. With the other 2 working together, I jumped onto my satellite internet to complete the last stage of the challenge.
Look at that, isn't that amazing when you consider how quickly that page came up? I was sending the request for a website through this mobile phone, and then through the wonders of the internet, it told the satellite what I wanted to see, and it beamed it down to me here in my vehicle.
Using the phone to request a website instead of a 2-way satellite brings the cost down massively, from thousands to £100. It's a great system for caravanners or people who live out of a broadband area.
I cheated by using Suzi's TV tuner, but I didn't care. I was hungry. Now it was time to use my satellite modem to complete the task. Designed for guys like Ray Mears, my satellite phone and modem delivers guaranteed 384k per second download speeds. It only weighs a kilogram, and when you absolutely need to access the internet from anywhere in the world, it's pretty much the only way to go.
Oh, look, I mean, that's more like this.
Getting online on my Arcos, I closed in on the fish and chips.
I'm online. Look. So 5, let's put 5.
A competitor of the iPod Touch, it's a 30-gig hard disk media player with touchscreen and Wi-Fi. Its Opera-based web browser means you can download content directly or surf for all the information you need.
Hey, this is great.
With just minutes left, we were all closing in on the target. And it was actually my Wi-Fi-enabled Arcos that did the job first.
This could be it. It's the Foreigner.
Closely followed by me in my motorhome. Well, at 10 o'clock, the film The Foreigner will be on.
I wasn't left to starve either, and hunted down the answer just in time.
Ah, good. That means dinner. Would you like to join me for dinner in the tent?
Can I?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, marvellous.
Look at me, I'm in my element. Fish and chips, the food of the gods, warmed up in my motorhome, the microwave. I've got the internet there waiting for a little post-dinner surfing. I've got God knows how many channels on my Skybox. This is fantastic. It could have been so different. That race from the beach, that was anybody's. That assault course could have done for me, but it didn't. Onion bhaji.
Cold and wet, but with full tummies, we settled down for a night of camping. We had no idea what the next day would bring. I certainly hadn't expected the first day to end like this. I can't believe I'm sleeping with you.
I've got to be honest, I felt really sorry for you two. I mean, the weather was appalling.
Well, don't feel sorry for us, because we had a very nice night's sleep,
It was
didn't we?
really cosy in the tent.
It was.
Are you being serious?
No,
It looked
he's
horrible.
a great person to sleep next to. He doesn't move or snore or anything.
Oh, that's a bonus.
I mean, there were a few disturbances when the bathroom fell on top of the tent.
Yes,
Yeah, there was that moment.
And at about 3 o'clock in the morning, our runner decided to literally try and run us over in the truck, which you wouldn't have heard in your palace.
But you know, if anyone's technology won that challenge, it was yours, Suze.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it was. This was fantastic. This Pinnacle USB Freeview tuner.
Yeah.
I mean, you stick it in your computer, and your computer's a Freeview telly. Obviously, you've got to be in an area with a good signal for Freeview. That's one point to make. But then this Arcos, this was also superb, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Got onto the net really quickly. Very easy to surf, and obviously you watch your videos and all that kind of stuff as well. But without my tech, John wouldn't have had any food, and I wouldn't have had anywhere to sleep.
So it's quite a bonding experience for you guys.
Very much so.
Yeah, I still wouldn't exchange it for mine. Can we just make that clear?
We were very happy in our tent together, weren't we?
Yeah.
Right now, I want to share a little gadget show tip with you. You know when you've got a tune in your head and you can't think who sang it or what the name of the song is? Well, you can go to midomi.com, hum the tune into the microphone on your webcam, and it'll tell you exactly what that tune is. So, for example, you just click on Start Voice Search here. See, if you can't sing like me, it should still recognise that if somebody else has hummed that tune in previously and put it in the database. Let's see if it knows. Star Spangled Banner, midomi.com, very clever. Right, sit up and pay attention, please, because we want you to help us help you. Right here, right now, we're launching a Gadget Show campaign. And if you've got broadband internet connection or you're thinking about getting one, then you might find what I'm about to tell you quite shocking. Now, I know what you're thinking, oh, there's nothing wrong with my broadband. I get 8 megabits a second. That's plenty for downloading a few bits and bobs and playing a few games online. Is that what you're thinking? Yeah? Well, you're wrong.
Because many people aren't getting anything like the speeds they're promised by their internet service provider.
And another thing, places like Sweden, Korea and Japan, they're laughing at us. Why? Because they get much higher speeds for a fraction of the price. Yep, our broadband providers are having a laugh and the joke is firmly on us. So, I've been testing the speed of my broadband connection all week. Now, I'm supposed to get up to 8 meg, but so far I haven't managed to get more than 2. I called all the guys at the Gadget Show office to see what their connections were like, and the results, to be honest, were pretty dire. In fact, one guy was supposed to get up to 20 megs and hasn't managed to get beyond 3. That got me thinking, what about you?
I'm supposed to be getting 8 megabits, but but I'm only getting, well, just under 2.
I'm paying for 8 megabits. What I'm actually getting is about 3.5.
Speeds we're getting 2, we're only getting 0.8. Rubbish.
Now, all of these broadband providers use the handy term up to a certain speed. So imagine that your broadband connection is a little bit like the road that I'm on. I'm on a motorway, so I can go up to 70 miles an hour, but only under certain conditions. You see, the more people are using my road, the slower my journey is going to be. And the internet is exactly the same. The more people using your bandwidth, the slower your services will be. Come on! Shift it!
ADSL broadband, that is broadband down your phone line, shares the available bandwidth for an area between a number of users, usually 50. If you're all online at once, you'll find yourself going slower.
The only time you're likely to get a line all to yourself is at 4 o'clock in the morning. And I really don't want to know what you're doing online at 4 a.m.
And you'll only have high speeds if the quality of your phone line or cable is good. And if you get your broadband down a phone line rather than cable, the speed depends on how far you are away from the telephone exchange. The further the distance, the slower the broadband.
Well, clearly, I'm not going to be able to go at full speed all of the time, and neither are our ISPs. But even taking into account that convenient phrase, up to, we think that the difference between what we're being sold and what we're actually getting is just too big. And we want that to change.
So how can you help us? Well, we want you to join what we're calling the Gadget Show Broadband Truth Campaign. And if you go onto the Gadget Show website, we've set up a broadband speed test. So we want you to go to our website at 5.tv/gadgetshow and test what download speed you're getting from your broadband. Test it 3 or 4 times at different times of the day and on different days of the week. Once you've checked the speed, then we want you to fill in a report form, which is still on the website. Then we can compile a list of the worst providers and take them to task.
Yeah, and we need you to take them to task as well. If you're unsatisfied with the service you're getting, if you've been to our website and you found that your connection is slower than you thought, then we've also put a big collection of contact details for most of the broadband providers up there, so you can get in contact with them yourself. Let them know that you're not happy.
Yeah,
Tell
keep
them.
emailing them.
Absolutely, tell them that it's not what you expected to get, and keep plugging away at them until you get a response. If they do get in touch with you, if you're happy with the response, if they change the way they're doing things, also let us know. Welcome back, and let's go straight over to that hillside in Wales for the final test in this week's Wild Challenge. We rejoin the action as Suzi and Jon emerge from their tent after an interesting night's sleep.
Overnight, our campsite had been absolutely battered by gale-force winds and torrential rain. It had been a full-on endurance test.
Well, it's as wet as it sounds. The bathroom's collapsed.
And what do you want immediately after an endurance test?
It's going to be a nightmare today.
An endurance race, of course.
A circuit had been set up for us, complete with slalom section, and as if we weren't wet enough already, a bank of rain machines.
Our vehicles for this race were the most gadgety personal transporters ever devised. Segways.
These are off-road versions with deeply treaded tyres, bumpers and a higher ground clearance than the original.
Jon and I both had Segway XTs with fixed upright handlebars and a twist grip to turn left and right.
Having won the overnight challenge, I got the very latest Segway X2, which uses lean steer. The handlebar is pivoted at the base and leans left and right to turn, which is far more intuitive.
After a short warm-up, we lined up for a 30-lap endurance race.
And we were off.
I pulled away from the line quicker than the other two and took the lead. As we headed into the slalom for the first time, the new lean steer on my Segway came into its own. It felt extremely natural, and I opened a gap between me and the boys.
I'd made a slow start, and a minor altercation with a slalom pole didn't help.
I'm under pressure from Bradbury.
The 54-kilogram machines can reach 12.5 miles per hour, which, when you're leaning forwards to make the thing go full pelt, feels like a hell of a lot more.
After just a few laps, the other two were close to lapping me. Confident that I had no chance whatsoever of winning, I thought I'd conduct a road test.
Now, there isn't an accelerator and brake as such. You actually control the Segway with the movements of your body. You lean forwards to go forwards, lean backwards to go backwards. And your movements are interpreted by 5 gyroscopes and a microprocessor underneath your feet.
While Jon was chatting, we were racing. A job made harder by the rain machines.
Oh, it's raining!
They were being turned on randomly so we could test the off-road traction.
It's getting really slippy on the start-finish straight, and you can feel the tyres starting to slip. If they put any more water on, it's going to be a nightmare.
The 7-inch grooved off-road tyres seemed to be able to handle the by now very muddy straight. My only major concern was Jason.
I can feel you breathing down my neck, Bradley. Bradley!
After we'd been racing for 20 minutes and with just 7 laps left, Suzi started to open up a big lead.
Oh, no! Oh, no! I'm never going to catch you now.
With only half a lap between us and 2 laps to go, the unthinkable happened. My early lead vanished as I got caught behind a plodding Jon. Then Jason barged his way through, Ben Hur style.
Oh, well done. It's like Chariot!
Into the final lap, I was in the lead for the first time ever. And with Suzi right on my tail, I dodged and weaved to keep that lead.
I had one last opportunity to beat Jason. My Segway was more manoeuvrable thanks to the leading steering. And as Jason ran wide, I nipped up the inside, retaking the lead with just half a lap to go.
Come on! Come on! Woo!
Victory was mine.
Yes! It's a monster finish!
I think my updated Segway was much more intuitive to use than the old one.
Yeah, the lean function did seem to feel good. I did have a spin
Really
afterwards.
I couldn't quite get over the psychological impact of not having a front wheel.
It is a bit strange, isn't
Yeah, but the funniest part was listening to him doing a road test all the way around.
it was absolutely fascinating. It's just, it didn't enable you to win. Good stuff.